Hey everyone, it's Dr. Marcus Chacos with Author Mastering. Today I'd like to ask you a really important question if you want to write a book, and that is, what is your unique method of making an impact? Now let's be honest, every single chiropractor has one, and they can create profound and powerful impact, not just because they have one, but when they identify it, they can actually write a book specifically on that. So most chiropractors have a similar method, but it will always be unique to them. So for example, history, examination, day 1. Day 2, x-ray, report of findings. Day 3, care plan delivery, or you may have some other model around that process. And then we begin the treatment protocol and program, or take the care plan to the patient and deliver it within the scope of the treatment within the room. Then there is an education aspect to it, and there's a review process. It sounds pretty consistent amongst chiropractors. But here's the exciting part. It's unique to the patient. Your approach is like no approach anyone else could do because they're not you, or any approach they've ever had because it's unique to you, and your interaction with them is different from any interaction I've had with any other practitioner. So you already have a unique way of doing things, and by you sharing your unique way of doing things and messaging that within a book and sharing that within the community, people get an understanding of what you do, why you do it, how you do it, and the impact it's going to have. And so I'm going to give you an example. This is the framework I operate from. Now, I do the history, examination, x-rays, care plan, report of findings, etc. We also do an insight scan and test, the EMG, the thermal imaging, as well as the HRV. So we have a certain way of doing things. You'll have your certain way of doing things. It might be kinesiology. It might be structural biomechanics. There could be any aspect. You may have postural scans that you do, or spinal analysis machines. Everyone will have their own way of applying the principles of chiropractic to the presentation of the patient within their practice. Which means if everybody's got a unique way of doing it, everybody's got a unique method and therefore needs a book to express that unique method. I'm just going to quickly go through mine, and I blueprint this with the client. I call it the lifestyle transformational paradigm, or the total healing blueprint. Down here I start with optimization of the nervous system. That's chiropractic. Then we need to optimize the physical body, which is again chiropractic, alignment of the spine, correction of the mechanics, but also stretch, strength and conditions, balance, coordination, look at exercise. Then we look at the biochemistry and the physiology. So we're looking here at diet, nutrition, hormones. Again, from the adjustment perspective, we get the organ response from the nervous system interaction through chiropractic. Then we look at the emotional mental aspects. Look at here, we've already got the 3 T's, traumas, toxins, thoughts. So this is a really big chiropractic paradigm controlled and organized by the nervous system. And then we deal with that. Either I happen to use net remedies, or I look at subconscious reprogramming techniques, but that's just my paradigm, not yours. I'm just sharing so you can understand how I've populated this as a book to give you inspiration and aspiration. And then I look at the energetic system, so the meridians, which is what kinesiology uses to gain feedback from the body. And then I look at the genetic aspects, and we're talking here Bruce Lipton's work on epigenetics. And then I also talk about, understanding a person's place and meaning in life. So I call this and when you integrate all of those, I call that the transformational paradigm, or a total healing blueprint. So I've got a model that I use in practice that represents the framework from which I work with my patients, serve my community, educate and direct the course or process of care from. Now that's mine. Now, if you ask me to talk on the nervous system, I can do that. Well, I can do a half-hour presentation straight away off the top end on the nervous system. I know you can too. You can talk about sympathetic, parasympathetic. You can talk about sympathetic dominance. You can talk about stress. What causes stress? What causes the nervous system to go into sympathetic dominance? What decreases that sympathetic dominance and turns it back to the parasympathetic control? Chiropractic, or lifestyle change, or breath work. Then I can talk about exercise, the importance of stretch, strength and conditions, balance and coordination. I can show them exercises. I can give them exercises. I can explain how the structure of their spine is influencing their nervous system and needs both adjustment and exercise support. I can talk about diet, nutrition, and eliminate dairy, sugar, processed refined food, fast food, junk food, take out toxins, pollutants, chemicals. I'm not doing anything you don't know. And then I can talk about the emotional aspects and all of those other aspects. I'm not going to go through it because you get the idea, don't you? I've got a blueprint. As soon as I record my ideas in each of those areas and put them into print, I have a framework that I can educate my patients with that becomes my book, which I do have a book called the Total Healing Blueprint that I use to educate my patients with, that I deliver as content and value so they can move in the direction of ownership of this information in their life and their lifestyle. And that is how I become the authority in their mind and also deliver the results in their life. So the reason I wanted to share this with you, it doesn't matter what I've got on the wall. It matters what you've got in your head and what you feel in your heart. When you put that into play, when you get that down on paper, taking it out of your head, feeling with love and passion that you want to serve, and you produce a book, you've got a blueprint of success, and people want to know your story. People in your community want to know that there is somebody that they can go to that offers them certainty, confidence and value, that offers them a pathway to where they want to be, a solution for the results that they are experiencing, or the results they want to experience instead of the challenges they are experiencing. You have in you a book. You have in you the pathway for people in your community. It's time to get it out. And if you need help doing that, reach out. I want to help you write that book.